Hey everyone, so I know the last two videos on social usage and protocol have been really dry and boring, and I'm sorry about that, but it's just the material. However, to be honest, the social usage and protocol manual is probably my favorite naval directive. Yes, it's weird to have a favorite naval directive, but hear me out, alright? It has some of the most obscure, outdated, and bizarre information in it. And that's what this video is about. It's basically the random stuff. Alright? So, we're going to start out with something not too weird. Forms of address. So, there's a lot of information on forms of address in this manual, but here's a couple of the highlights. So, American ambassadors are the Honorable so-and-so, while foreign ambassadors are going to be His or Her Excellency. Don't know why, but that's how it works out. Chaplains are never going to be addressed by their rank. It's always going to be Chaplain Mark Turner. And then you've got Navy doctors and dentists. You're going to call them doctor from 01 to 04. For some reason, once they hit the rank of 05, they're an officer named commander, captain, admiral. And then midshipman is a rank. So you're going to address them as such. It'll be Midshipman Johnson. Toasting. There is an entire chapter on toasting. And besides the entire chapter on toasting, multiple other chapters have subsections on toasting. Toasting is super big for some reason in this instruction. Don't know why, but it is. Now, when a toast is called, even non-drinkers should at least raise the glass to their lips. They don't need to take a drink, they just need to pretend. Interesting side note, toasting originated with the English custom of flavoring wine with a piece of browned and spiced toast. Doesn't sound good to me, but that's what they did. In 1709, Sir Richard Steele wrote of a lady whose name was supposed to flavor wine like spiced toast, and thus evolved the notion that the individual or institution honored with a toast would add flavor to the wine. And that's why we toast people. So those who want to offer a toast are going to stand up, raise their glass and salute while uttering the expression of goodwill. Meanwhile, the individual being toasted should remain seated and nod in acknowledgement. You are not going to take a drink if someone is toasting to you. Later, you can stand up, thank the others, and offer a toast in return. Generally, the host or hostess will be the first one to start the rounds of toasting. Dining in. Again, there's this huge chapter on dining in. It's really kind of a bizarre tradition that's really antiquated, and you'll get a kick out of reading that chapter if you want to go ahead and do that. So it's a formal dinner with the members of an organization or unit. It's going to have a formal setting, camaraderie, a fine dinner, toasting, martial music, and generally there's attendance of honored guests. So, how does a dining in work? So it starts with cocktail hour, which is about 45 minutes long. During cocktail hour, everybody mingles. That's when you do introductions. Again, there's a whole little section on introductions. A man will always be introduced to a woman. A younger person is always introduced to an older person. And a lower ranking person will always be introduced to a higher ranking person. Once cocktail hour is over, they're going to do the call to dinner. The signal for dinner will be the playing of officer's call. Once officer's call is done, they're going to start marching music. Everybody marches into the dining area and stands in front of their seats. Once everyone's there and the marching music is done, the president and the rest of the head of the table is going to walk in. Once there, the chaplain is going to give grace And then the president of whatever association, group, or unit is doing this has a gavel. Big note on this one, I have seen questions regarding this gavel on my tests. So, 3 raps of the gavel requires the attention of members. 2 raps causes the members to rise, and 1 rap tells people to sit down. Sitting arrangements. They're picky about seating arrangements as well. So the president is going to be at the center of the head table. The guest of honor is going to be on his or her right, which is considered the place of honor, and the chaplain will sit to the left. The remaining guests at the head table will be seated according to protocol, and by protocol they basically mean rank. And then here I have a little picture for you guys of what a head table may look like. Table setting. So table setting is really fancy and particular, and if you didn't grow up super fancy, you have no idea how this is supposed to look. So I made a little sample of how it's going to look like. I tried to go online and find it, but the Navy's idea of a table setting is just slightly off most every other formal dining sample I could find. So here you go. This is how it should be according to the Social Usage Protocol Manual. You lay the plate in the center. You're going to put a napkin on top. On top of the napkin will be a place card with the person's name. To the left, working from the outside, you are going to have the fish fork, the meat fork, and the salad fork. And then on the left-hand side of the table, from the outside, you're going to have the soup spoon, the teaspoon, and then the meat knife and the salad knife. Above the knives is going to be the glassware or crystal. Again, working from the outside or from right to left is going to be the white wine glass, then the red wine glass, then the champagne glass, a small little glass for port wines, and a goblet for water. There is even a section on how to properly serve wine with the right foods. So, those who aren't familiar with wine, white wines are going to be served with fish and fowl, and they're served chill. Red wines are served with blood meats, for example, beef, pork, things like that. And those are served at room temperature. Champagne can be served at any time because champagne's awesome. It's also served chill. And the port will be served after dinner for the purpose of toasting. Yes, we're going to talk more about toasting. It's crazy. Alright, so toasts at a dining in. They're very particular about how you do toasts at a dining in. So following the dessert and the coffee, the vice president will announce to the president the wine is ready to pass. When all the glasses are charged, which charged means filled with the port wine. And a little side note on how that works, the waiters are going to bring a bottle to each table. The first person to receive the bottle is going to fill their glass and hand it to the next person. There's a very strict rule apparently. You cannot set the bottle down until every glass has been filled. It's like a big no-no if you set it down. So don't set it down, pass it to the next person until everybody has some wine, and then the last person to fill their cup can set the bottle down. If the bottle becomes empty at any point during the toast, person's going to raise their hand to signal the waiter, and the waiter will take the empty one and bring a new one. So once the glasses are charged, the president will rise and call for a toast to the Commander-in-Chief of the United States. He will sound the gavel, and the vice president will second this by rising and saying, "Gentlemen, ladies, the Commander-in-Chief of the United States." And then every member and guest stands, repeats the toast in unison, and takes a sip. The band then plays the national anthem. Apparently we have bands at dining-ins. At the conclusion of the music, the members and the guests can sit down. After the first toast is given to the Commander-in-Chief, the President will call for the smoking light to be lamped. the smoking lamp to be lighted. There we go. Apparently we smoke during these as well. There'll be ashtrays placed on the table at the same time that they bring out the wine for the toasts. And there's a particular order to toasting. So just as we discussed, the Commander-in-Chief is going to be the first toast. After that, they're going to do the Joint Chiefs of Staff, then the Marine Corps, and the Chief of Naval Operations. Then they're going to toast the ships at sea, and toast missing comrades, and then comes the informal toasts. Those are going to be toasts besides these ones, so if there's a special guest that they are honoring during this dine-in, or anything else. And how the informal toasts go is the member that wants to propose a toast will stand up and try to justify the reason for the toast. If the president agrees with the argument made by the person who wants to give this toast, he will agree, and then the toast will be made. Once all of the informal toasts are done, the last toast will be the toast to the United States Navy. After that toast, they will play Anchors Aweigh. Lastly, the president is going to discuss and dole out any violations of the mess that took place during the dining in. And some of these are pretty insane. I'm not going to go through all of them. I mean, okay, so you get in trouble if you're late. But apparently there's an issue with haggling over the date of rank. Inverted cummerbund. Don't even know if we wear those anymore, to be honest. Improper toasting procedures. You can't leave the dining area without the permission of the president. Foul language. Alright. Wearing a clip-on bow tie at an obvious list, so make sure your bow tie's all straight and everything. Being caught with an empty glass. Oh, and my personal favorite, failure to laugh at any joke rendered by an honored guest or the president. Yes, that's a violation. And apparently they can charge members for any of these violations. So I really encourage, if anyone here hasn't read this instruction, you're going to find some really bizarre stuff in it. And that's probably why I like this instruction so much. It's the only Navy instruction I've ever found that's made me laugh out loud. So I've given you guys some of the random little tidbits that can be found in this instruction, but if I were to go through everything, this video would probably last an hour, and nobody wants to sit and listen to me talk for an hour. So after you guys learn everything that I have to teach you here, I highly encourage you all to pick up that instruction and look through it one more time. Every time I read it, I find something new. I hope you found this entertaining and educational, and let me